Okay, good evening, class. Can you hear my audio? Good evening. Anyone from the group kindly confirm if I'm audible. Okay, so thank you for those who responded. Okay, so I'll be starting to share my screen so that we can begin our lesson. So just inform me if there's a problem with the audio so that I can check if there's a technical problem on my end. And also, if you have any question, kindly write it down muna or jot it down. And at the end of the discussion, kung you can raise it so that we can address the question or any clarification. Yun. So, I'll be starting to share my screen na. Then also to your representative, kindly monitor if there's someone who is absent. Okay, good day, class. Let us discuss the introduction to radiobiology by tackling the relevant biological principles. Okay, so for today, we are going to discuss some relevant biological principles in quite important for us to understand yung radiobiology proper. Okay, so for this, let us once again review the ionizing radiation. So pag sinabi nating ionizing radiation, ano nga ulit ang primary criteria? Dapat yung radiation merong energy sufficient enough to remove an electron sa atom. And itong removal ng electron na to, yung nagiging cause kung bakit possible na mag-incur or mag-cause ng change doon sa tinatamaan niya yung mga ionizing radiation such as X-ray. So pagka nabago yung electronic configuration ng atom, the atom might also uh, could somehow affect the molecule it is part of. Yan. So, and kung yung molecule na yun is quite important for the cell itself could possibly impaired or much worse, the cell could die because of the electronic disturbance caused by radiation exposure, particularly the ionizing type. And last time, nabanggit natin itong mga to. Yung example niyan, yung mga types niya, the particulate and the electromagnetic. So under the particulate, you have your alpha, your beta, and so on and so forth. For electromagnetic, the gamma, the X-ray. Yan yung mga nasa electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so and we are already on the effect of ionizing radiation. Let's now talk what is a biological effect. Pag-usapan naman natin ano yung biological effect. Logical effect. Pag sinabi nating biological effect, this is the effect on the cell. So ito yung effect sa cell ng na particularly ang nadadamage is DNA. So damage na DNA because DNA is the critical molecule. So the most sensitive. So siya yung most sensitive na molecule sa loob ng cell kasi as we know, ano bang purpose niya? Siya ang blueprint of life. So kaya kapag nagbago siya, the anatomy and the physiology of the cell is also affected. And so, kapag damage ng ng ating radiation, ito ang pinaka-sensitive na molecule sa cell, biological damages or biological effects would happen. And so, siya yung pinaka-sensitive nga. Pero aside from the DNA, yung sa loob ng cell, meron din tayong yung connected din sa DNA natin, yung mga proteins, And so proteins are quite important for maintaining the function of the cell. And siya rin ginagawa niya rin kasi to na somehow connected sa DNA kasi yung code na gagamitin to manufacture proteins inside the cell will come from the DNA, from the nucleus. Okay, so kaya important din siya. Okay, so kapag ka na-damage yan, yung DNA resulting to protein changes sa paggawa ng protein ng cell, it might result oftentimes yan to what we known as mutations. And DNA, what we call DNA mutations. Magkakaroon ng mga DNA mutations. Pag sinabing DNA mutation, this is the change in the a sudden change or abnormal change in the sequence of the molecules of the DNA that's resulting to abnormality also dun sa expression, especially sa genes, so yung ating unit of inheritance. So change in the gene expression thus resulting to protein synthesis disturbance. And yun, yung cell, yung apektado nun, yung function sa loob ng cell, maapektuhan din. And kapag ka-severe yung DNA mutation, yung abnormality, it might result into death. Yan. Kung makarecover ang cell, pero hindi niya na mabalik yung sarili niya sa normal, aside from death, eto na yung pwedeng maging malignancy. Pag sinabi nating malignancy, yan, yung pinaka-notorious na cancer. Yan. Kaya kapag ka ang radiation tumama sa isang object or sa isang biological organism at yung kanyang mga cells ay nag-mutate na naging abnormal, naging uncontrollable sila, they might become the pathological process of cancer. Yeah. So that's the basics of the effect of radiation to the cell. Okay, so yung expression to describe the effect of radiation to cell is commonly demonstrated by what we call dose response relationship. So, pinapakita na itong dose response relationship, yung relationship sa pagitan ng radiation dose and the biological effect or yung response nga and biological effect. Yung connection nila, paano nagde-depend yung biological effect na nagawa ng radiation dun sa lakas or dose na na-create galing sa radiation. And we have the two common types often associated with the dose-response relationship na pag-uusapan natin sa mga succeeding na discussion. And so we have the deterministic and as described by the dose-response relationship, yung two types of effects of radiation that we have deterministic and stochastic. Deterministic and stochastic. Stochastic effect of radiation. So, pag-uusapan natin ng dalawa na to in detail kapag dating natin sa mga succeeding parts ng radiobiology proper. Okay, so next one. Okay, so that is the two types of dose response relationship. Now let's talk about the general types of radiation interaction, radiation effect, types of radiation effect based on interaction. Based on interaction. Dalawa rin sila. Number one is the direct effect. And number two is the indirect effect. Okay, pagka sa direct effect, yung radiation, direct na tumama sa DNA. Nag-produce siya ng direct DNA damage. Again, I will repeat, kapag direct effect, yung nagawa ng radiation, diretso siyang tumama sa DNA ng cell. Samantalang sa indirect effect, it is indirectly affecting the DNA, but rather doon sa mga non-DNA molecules. Example nito yung mga water molecules. Ang pinakamadami kasing molecule sa loob ng cell is water. So kapag itong water na to nag-interact sa radiation, it might undergo the what we call yung process ng radiolysis. Magi-split yung radiolysis. And so radiolysis. Magi-split yung water molecule uh, into its ionic form, yung hydronium ion and hydroxide ion. So magiging from H2O magiging H plus and OH. Yan. So which is both of these are ionic forms and they are capable of reacting. So they are reactive by default. So pag ito nag-travel, they might produce some dangerous chemicals within the cell. Like halimbawa nito, they can produce yung ating H2O2, yung hydrogen peroxide, which is a toxic chemical. Yan, so yung hydrogen peroxide and commonly associated with what we call mga free radicals. Magpo-form siya ng free radicals. Yung mga free radicals, ito yung mga atoms na merong unpaired electron sa kanilang outer shell. So yung unpaired electron na yon in the rule of chemistry could react with other molecules. So they can steal electrons from the nearby molecules na stable, thus making the molecule na naagawan ng electron na maging abnormal or magbago ng karakteristik. So itong mga free radicals na to na nagawa ng indirect interaction or effect, pwede silang makapag-travel and maabot yung DNA. Pwede rin nilang maapektuhan or mag-cause ng DNA mutation. So, pero hindi yung radiation ng direktang gumawa. So tumama yung radiation dun sa outside of the nucleus or not in the DNA, pero yung kanyang mga byproducts, yun yung nakadating sa DNA ng cells or DNA ng nucleus. And so both of these could possibly cause some changes or effects. Depende na nga lang kapag ka diretsong tumama, direct effect, pagka naman sa outside, sa cytoplasm, sa may water ng cytoplasm, producing free radicals, that is more likely the indirect effect. And mas common kasi yung indirect dahil ang loob ng cell, konti lang ang DNA, mas marami ang water molecules. Okay, so next concept, let's talk about the radiation damage at the molecular level. Radiation damage naman sa molecular level. Okay, for the damage in the molecular level, the first type that we are going to tackle is the SSB, or the SSBs. Okay, this pertains to the single strand, okay, the single strand breaks. Okay, etong SSB, single strand breaks, they are under the what we call uh, okay, so this what under the what we call chromosomal damage. We know that chromosomes are the aggregates or sila yung pag nagsama-sama yung DNA sa loob ng nucleus. Pag nag-condense yung DNA, they might create yung collections ng DNA that what we call chromosomes. So mas pagka nasisira ang chromosome, nagkaroon ng chromosomal damage, maraming DNA yung nasira sa cell. So kapag gano'n yung nagawa ng radiation, there's a possible more likely mag-cause yun ng serious na damage sa cell natin. And we can categorize nga yung chromosomal damage according to the following SSBs. So kapag ka SSBs, halimbawa ito yung chromosome. Kasi ang chromosome is yung itsura niya under the microscope is mukhang letter X yan. Okay, so pagka sa single strand breaks, pag naputol, isang side lang ba tumama yung radiation. Ito yung radiation natin. At pagka tumama siya, mapuputol lang tong isa. Ayan. So, kapag isang part lang yung naputol, that is only single strand. Okay, pero kapag dalawa na sila, from the single strand, tatawagin natin siyang, pag yung both side na ng chromosome, yung DSBS. Or yan, DSBs or the double strand breaks. Double strand breaks. So mas delikado si double strand breaks kasi maraming DNA yung na-damage. Thus more functions in the cell will be impaired. So yung single strand it is less serious compared to the double strand kasi yung single strand pwede pa siyang ma-repair ng mga enzymes sa loob ng cell. Samantalang ito si double strand more serious or more severe siya na siya yung common na nagli-lead to mutation. So etong si SBS repairable pa yan ng ating cell. So wag lang yung totally na halos wala nang natira. Yung DSBS mas delikado. It is the more severe form and ito yung mas talagang mass mutation yung nangyari sa cell natin. So kapag hindi naka-recover yung cell, it would result to what we call yung programmable death niya in order to avoid na pag nag-mutate siya ng tuloy-tuloy kasi magiging cancer. So to avoid na becoming a cancer, kapag na-detect ng cell na talagang wala ng chance for recovery out of the double strand breaks, it will go to or undergo the process of programmable cell death or tinatawag na apoptosis. Okay. Okay, so kapag yung damage is wala namang naputol, wala namang nawala, tinatawag naman natin yun na chromosomal aberrations. Okay, so there's only a structural changes sa chromosome na ito yung common na merong mutations na nagre-result into some genetic disorders. So itong si chromosomal aberrations, this is the one often associated with cancers and genetic disorders. Yan yung mga syndromes, yung mga genetic syndromes na pwedeng mapamana dun sa mga susunod na generation. And like yung mga survivors ng nuclear bombings before. Okay, so yan we call that chromosomal aberration. Hanggang dito walang naputol. Ang nangyari is nag-shift lang yung arrangement ng chromosome or yung nagkaroon siya ng structural changes. Okay, let's talk about some of the important ng okay, so in the molecules. Okay, pag sinabi nating molecules, these are combination of two or more atoms. And two or more atoms. Basta merong more than one atoms na magkadikit, that is what we call molecules. And inside the cell, we have biological molecules. So yung mga example ng biological molecules na quite essential whenever there is possible molecular damage caused by radiation. Number one nga dito yung nagkakos ng free radical, si water. And si water. Second, yung proteins. And tapos consider din dito si lipids. So ito yung mga macromolecules or yung mga molecules of life. Yan. So kasi hindi pa sila kompleto, wala pa dyan si carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. And also, we have the nucleic acids. Okay, so yan yung water as we know it is the most abundant. Yan siya yung pinakamadami. Siya yung ah, pinakamadaming molecule sa cell and kapag nagkaroon ng effect sa kanya, it might produce free radicals. Yan. So siya yung ano kasi common sa cytoplasm where majority of the chemical reactions within the cell is happening. Proteins on the other hand is yung chemical composition nito kung H2O si ano si water, it have CHON, yung carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen with traces of elements. Yan. So yan yung composition ng proteins and they are quite important for structure and function. So yung mga organelles ng cell, yung mga tiny organs ng cell and also some of its chemical secretions is uh, naka-base or kailangan ng proteins. Kaya kami na manufacture siya ng cell itself, gumagawa ng sariling protein ng cell natin. Lipids on the other hand, so carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, yan lang ang chemical composition yan. And this is also important for structure. Yan, for structure, like yung cell membrane natin ng cell is composed of phospholipid bilayer. And the lipid component is, yun nga, from the word itself, the phospholipid, yung lipid is the fat form. Okay, so yan at may mga types to, yung pinaka-common natin yung si fats or yung common form ng fats is yung fatty acids yan composed of three fatty acids with one glycerol. Yan yun yung kanyang common na unit. Yan. So si protein ang unit nito amino acid. Si lipids naman, fatty acids. Ang bonding ng so kapag sa radiation interaction, ang concern sa molecular bonds ng proteins, peptide bond, and peptide bonds yung mga nagko-connect sa amino acid to create a particular protein. Sa Yan. So sa ano natin sa may lipids natin, so hindi naman masyadong important yung ester band niya pero yan so si lipid is quite important for structure and as well as energy storage. Yan yung common na function ng ating lipids. Carbohydrates, on the other hand, kamukha ng lipid, CHO din. Kaya pagka wala kang kinain carbohydrates, na may example ng mga carbohydrate-rich food, yung mga starchy food like yung rice, yung bread, kapag wala kang makakain ganyan, yung they are good for kasi for energy, yung immediate energy source. So, pag walang carbohydrate, alternative is the lipids. Okay, so si carbohydrates, yung for energy. Yan, for energy commonly ang usage ng carbohydrates. At ang unit niya is yung ating saccharides. And, or especially what we call the simple sugars, the monosaccharides. The monosaccharides. Okay, so yung pinaka-important nga, yung nucleic acids natin, ito yung for the genetic information. Ito yung mahirap masira ng radiation. It might result to mutation or cell death. So ano ba example kasi ng mga nucleic acid? Yung DNA and RNA. Ang unit naman nito ng nucleic acids natin, sila yung merong composed ng nucleotides. Yung mga nucleotides natin, ito yung merong phosphate, may sugar, saka kapag yung apat na nitrogenous bases, yan yung apat na nitrogenous bases niya, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. And so we have phosphate. And so si nucleotide, meron siyang phosphate, yung sugar. So kapag ang sugar is DNA, deoxyribose, pagka naman sugar is RNA, ribose, tapos yung base niya or yung nitrogen base. Yan. So yung nitrogen base, ito si adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. Tapos kapag ka magiging RNA, mapapalitan si thymine ng uracil. Okay, so and then, those are quite important for the for some of the review of the biological principles. And as well as ano pala, take note ang adenine paired with thymine. So nagpe-pair kay thymine yan, si guanine naman kay cytosine. Tapos yung combination ng thymine saka yung si cytosine, sila yung mga tinatawag nating pyrimidines ko naaalala pa. Tapos si adenine sa si guanine, yung kanilang grupo, yun naman yung mga purines. So they are quite important for analyzing yung damage na na-create ng radiation. Okay, let's talk about some of the chemical bonds. Yung paano nag-interact or nagko-connect ng mga molecules na to. Okay, so first, in the chemical bond, yung tinatawag nating ionic bond. So ito kasi yung mga band na yan yung delikadong ma-damage ng radiation. It might cause some molecular changes. And pag yung molecules nga na yun ay super important sa cell, the cell could be damaged or much worse, the cell could die. Okay, so ionic. So pag ionic ang bond, this is brought by the transfer of electron. So yun lang naman yung pinaka-essence nito. Nagkaroon ng halimbawa yung sodium saka yung chloride. So si sodium matatanggalan kaya magiging positive siya. Si chlorine naman yung natanggal kay sodium pag napunta sa kanya magiging negative. So as we know the electrostatic laws, so pag positive saka negative yung nagkalbe, magkakaroon sila ng attraction. Yan yung tinatawag nating ionic bond. So covalent bond, yung karamihan ng mga natin ng organic molecule within the cell is composed of the covalent bonding. Ito naman yung sharing ng electrons. So medyo siya yung medyo hindi ganong kasing kasing lakas yung attraction kapag ka sa may ionic bonding. Kaya pag tinamaan ng radiation yung mga covalent bonds, there's a tendency also na maputol. Okay, so meron tong dalawang form. Meron tayo yung tinatawag na polar and non-polar. Polar sa kanan, polar. Yan, polar sa kanan, polar. So polar kapag ka merong unequal sharing or hindi pantay yung distribution ng electron doon sa pag-share ng dalawang atoms, unequal. Kapag equal naman yung sharing, that would result to cancellation of charge, non-polar sila. So yan lang naman yung mga example na itong yung sa bonding natin dito si polar yung water H2O. Malaki kasi masyado yung oxygen, mas nahihila niya yung sinishare na electron, making it magkaroon ng mga partial positive sa negative side. Example naman ng natin ng non-polar is yung si O2. Yan, O2. Yung dalawang oxygen. So that's they are non-polar kasi equal lang naman yung kanilang sharing ng electrons. Okay, so ayan, that is the basics of the molecular bonds. Yung dalawang bonds na yan yung primary concern kapag effect ng radiation sa molecules. Okay, so pasok tayo sa cellular biology. For the cellular biology, let's talk about some of the important structure. So meron naman tatlong main parts ang cell natin. Yung three main parts niya. The three main parts natin is the cell membrane, yung covering, tapos yung ating cytoplasm, all inside the cell membrane except the nucleus is cytoplasm. Okay, sa pagitan ng nucleus sa ng cell membrane nandun yung cytoplasm. So, kung yung cell membrane, this is the covering. Yung nagre-regulate kung anong pwedeng pumasok at lumabas sa cell. uh, with the transport across the cell membrane. And ang composition nito, remember as I've mentioned kanina, kaya very important din ng lipid is phospholipid. So meron siyang phospholipid. The phospholipid bilayer. Dalawang layer siya ng phospholipid that is quite very secured when it comes to what can enter and exit the cell. Okay, cytoplasm naman, this is the gel-like. Yan, so siya yung gel-like na nasa loob ng cell membrane that is not na exception lang dito yung nucleus. So sa kanya nangyayari majority ng chemical reaction sa cell natin. Majority ng initiating stage ng mga metabolic reactions ng cell dito rin nangyayari. Halimbawa, yung cellular respiration for generation of energy, yung breaking down of glucose, dito nangyayari yon sa cytoplasm. Okay, so nucleus on the other hand is where the genetic material is housed. Dito nakatago yung kanyang DNA and yung DNA, the blueprint of life sa loob ng nucleus. So pagka sinama natin sa cytoplasm si nucleus, so kapag pinagsama silang dalawa, yung makikreate is yung tinatawag na protoplasm. Protoplasm. So the cytoplasm and the nucleus entirety, lahat ng nasa loob ng cell, tinatawag nating protoplasm. Okay, tapos yung cytoplasm, pwede nating i-categorize pa siya into to the solid and liquid. So ang liquid part ng cytoplasm is the cytosol. At tapos yung mga yung mga solid form, yung mga solid sa cytoplasm naman, sila yung mga organelles. Okay, so sila yung mga organelles sa loob ng cell. And let's talk about some of the important okay, so some of the important organelles within the cell. Okay, so ito yung mga important na organelles. Number one nga si nucleus. Nabanggit na natin yung function niya kanina. Nasa kanya si DNA, which controls, so technically siya yung parang brain ng parang brain siya ng cell. Siya yung brain ng cell, or it will control how some synthesis of molecules of the cell will happen. Yan, kasi nga nasa kanya yung DNA, the blueprint of life. Okay, so and for also for inheritance. Yan, so yung genetic material na laman niya ang napaka-importante sa nucleus. Okay, so aside from the nucleus, nandiyan din yung ating mitochondria. Ano naman tatandaan kay mitochondria? Siya yung gumagawa ng ATP, the energy currency within the cell. Siya ang powerhouse kung tagurian sa si mitochondria kasi siya yung gumagawa or nagmamanufacture ng energy source within the cell. Another one, we have the ER or endoplasmic reticulum. Yung endoplasmic reticulum. Yung endoplasmic reticulum naman or yung ER is the one that manufactures. Yan, nagsisynthesize din siya. So depende yung sinisynthesize niya kasi may dalawang type to, yung rough and smooth. Okay, so yung rough, merong siyang ribosome with ribosome. And we know that ribosome is the site for what? So site siya ng protein synthesis. And site siya ng protein synthesis. Ito namang si smooth, this is the site where the lipids are manufactured. So wala naman tong without wala siyang ribosomes. Walang ribosome si smooth. Si lipid na ma-manufacture siya dito kay smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Another important organelle, we have the Golgi apparatus. And Golgi apparatus. And yung Golgi apparatus, sila yung nagpa-package at nagta-transport ng protein. So yung magagawang protein sa ribosome, they will finalize them para magkaroon ng destination at magkaroon ng purpose kung para saan magamit. Yan. So yun ang purpose ng Golgi apparatus natin. Okay, so yung another yung ating lysosome. Yan, yung lysosome. Yung lysosome naman, this is digestion of the cell. Especially yung mga proteins na kailangang matunaw sa loob ng cell. So they can be digested by lysosome. Oftentimes, si lysosome din yung tinatawag na suicide bug. So siya yung suicide box na kapag ka na-detect na ang cell di na kayang makarecover sa invasion, halimbawa ng infection or sa mga damage, si lysosome yung nagba-burst in order to secrete its enzyme or yung kanyang hydrolytic enzyme na capable na tunawin yung buong cell. Kaya pag nagpapakamatay yung cell, lysosome yung isa sa mga ginagamit na organelle. And lysosome, as siguro addition, kapag ka merong worn out structure or may mga nasira na organelles, ang maglilinis nun is lysosome. Siya yung magdadigest. Okay, so those are some of the important organelles. So nucleus, the mitochondria, the lysosome, the endoplasmic reticulum. So those are the ano, kapag ka sa yung particularly interested tayo sa effect ng radiation sa cell, those are some of the important. Pero marami pa sila na sa inyong anatomy, physiology na ano to na na-tackle when you discuss the cell there. Pero dito sa atin ito lang yung i-mention natin or i-reviewin technically in order to better understand kapag tumama na yung radiation sa cell. Okay, so yan okay, so let's go to some of the the basics of cell metabolism. Talk about some basics of the cell metabolism as part of its function. So yung metabolism, this is the overall. So this is the overall chemical reaction. Overall, okay. So siya yung overall na chemical reaction. Overall chemical reaction within the cell. Kumbaga ba yung chemistry ng cell naka-base sa kanyang metabolism. At may dalawang parts ng metabolism. Yung unang part, catabolism. So yung catabolism naman, this is important for breaking down and for breaking down. Okay, so kapag merong kinain ang isang organism and bago pumasok sa kanyang cell, those are complex molecule must be converted first into raw materials na magagamit ng cell later para makagawa naman siya ng sarili niyang molecules. Halimbawa, yung proteins na kinain mo out of the food that you've eaten, kailangan mo nang ma-digest yan and to convert them into its simpler molecules, amino acid. So protein, i-convert sa amino acid, tapos pag yung amino acid pumasok na sa cell, the cell can now create its own version of protein na talagang pagmamay-ari niya out dun sa building blocks na na breakdown from the process of catabolism. So yung second part naman nito, yung ating anabolism. Okay, anabolism on the other hand is the building up. And the building or synthesis, yung taga-gawa. So kapag si cell nagma-manufacture niya ng sarili niyang mga organic molecules, halimbawa out of the glucose or out of the amino acids that it have taken up or yung mga fatty acids, gumagawa niya siya ng sarili niyang version ng fats, ng proteins, ng nucleic acids. So that is anabolism. Basta kapag gumagawa na yung cell, anabolism. Pagka naman nagbe-breakdown or nagda-digest siya, that is catabolism. Pero overall, lahat ng pag pinagsama mo yung catabolism sa anabolism, that is the metabolism, the overall chemical reaction within the cell. Okay, so in terms of the of the chemicals within the cell, may dalawang types ng compounds or molecules. So two molecular types sa loob ng cell, within the cell. So yung dalawang type natin, we have the organic and the inorganic. So yung mga organic natin, ito yung mga yung mga hydrocarbons na karamihan na napag-usapan natin kanina are hydrocarbons, like yung carbohydrates, protein, lipids, nucleic acids, yan. So, which is quite vital for the cell function. Yung mga inorganic naman, majority of them do not contain or no carbon. Hindi sila, not hydrocarbon na lang, para sure. Hindi kasi lahat ng may carbon ay organic. So, some na may carbon, like carbon dioxide, is inorganic. So, no hydrocarbon. Pero kapag hydrogen, carbon, yan, yung hydrocarbon, mga organic yan. The example ng mga inorganic natin, yung water, yung mga salts, yung mga acids na otherwise nasa loob din naman ng cell. Yan. So, yun yung mga grupo ng mga chemical sa loob ng cell natin. Pero pinaka-crucial dito yung mga organic. Yan. So, kasi yan yung mga building blocks niya. Katulad yung mga proteins, fats. Let's talk about the Okay, so pag-usapan natin yung cell proliferation. Ay pag sinabi nating cell proliferation, this is the yung pagdami or increase ng number ng cell. Oftentimes due out of the normal growth process, kailangan siya para lumaki yung organism. So the multiplication or nagmumultiply na yung cell. And that's another way around to refer to the cell proliferation. So this is again nga, pwedeng gamitin kapag for growth and development purposes, or it might be due to repair and recovery. So kapag na-damage yung isang organism, halimbawa nasugatan, nagkaroon ng sakit, and at kailangang ma-recover, cell proliferation is one way to do that. Okay, so under the cell proliferation, pag-usapan natin yung cell cycle. Okay, the cell cycle. Okay, so ito yung alternatingly na pumapasok at lumalabas yung cell sa time sa kanyang growth and dun sa kanyang dividing sa not dividing phase. And ito, speaking of the phases, meron tong mga stages yung cell cycle natin or yung pagdi-divide ng cell. So the first phase is the G1. So G1 phase. So sa G1, ito yung lumalaki or nagkakaroon ng growth. So the first growth of the cell. So ito yung nagpaparami pa lang na nagpaparami yung ating cell ng kanyang mga or nagpapalaki ng kanyang mga organs and nagmumultiply. So growth by organelle replication. Growth ng organelle. Okay, so growth ng organelle, dumadami yung yung number. Nagpaparami siya ng mga organelles. Okay, tapos yung susunod dito yung S-phase. So okay na, meron na siyang sufficient na number ng organelles para bago siya mag-divide, yung ma-share niya sa kanya mga magiging daughter cells yung enough na organelle. Sa S-phase naman, DNA replication. Magpaparami naman siya ng genetic material, which is quite crucial pag nag-divide yung kanyang nucleus. Okay, tapos next is yung ating G2 phase. Okay, kapag okay na yung yung DNA material, yung mga number ng organelle, magpapalaki lalo yung cell natin. And so mag-increase ng size yung mga organelle at yung cell itself, magpapalaki siya na magpapalaki. Kasi ito yung time na ano na siya, na bago siya, kumaga ba sa tao, bago manganak, in preparation ng pagbubuntis, kailangan kumakain ng kumakain yung buntis para ready yung katawan sa paglabas ng anak. Okay, so parang ito yon yung G2 phase. Yung papasok na kasi siya doon sa pinaka-crucial or yung pinaka-critical moment, yung M phase or yung mitosis phase and or the M phase. Ito yung division na talaga, cell division. Nagdi-divide na yung cell natin. Okay, so yung ano natin, yung preparatory stage na to mula G1 hanggang G2, tinatawag natin silang interphase. Interface. At ang interface ang pinakamahabang stage ng cell cycle. That's preparation. So preparation ng pinakamahaba sa lahat para pag dumating na yung testing part, mag-divide na siya, ready yung cell. Yan. So mamaya pag-usapan natin tong ano na to, etong stages ng division ng mitosis. Pero cell cycle muna. So kapag nakumpleto, magkakaroon ng panibagong ano, kung yan ay mitosis lang, it will be just two daughter cells. Yun yung pinaka-final product niyan. So parang isa, dumoble na yung number. Okay, so kapag yung ano naman natin, yung cell, after ng mitosis, nagpahinga na siya, tumigil na siya sa pagpapadami, masasabi nating pumasok yung cell sa tinatawag nating G0. Yan. So G0 is the resting phase. Okay, so siya yung resting phase, yung ano natin, yung cell natin tumigil na sa pagdi-divide, so or naging inactive na siya. Okay, so hindi na siya ano, hindi na siya magi-divide pa ulit. Yung ano, or temporarily mag-aano siya, mag-undergo siya neto bago siya ulit mag-divide. So once na matagal na hindi nag-divide na yung cell, masasabi nating nag-undergo siya ng G0 phase. Okay, so next one, we have uh, let's talk about the types of this cell division. First, unahin natin si mitosis. Okay, so mitosis is simply the division of the ano, division and multiplication. Multiplication ng cell. Usually, ang product niya, two daughter cells. From single parent, mag-divide siya into two. Yan, two daughters. So, parent, daughters. Okay, so may mga part tong ano natin, yung mitosis. The first part will be the prophase. So sa prophase, yung ating dito mangyayari yung condensation ng chromosome, magbi-build up na yung chromosome, tapos yung yung spindle apparatus will start to form, start ng spindles, formation ng spindle apparatus. And so sa prophase yun. And once na okay na yung chromosome, nawala na-remove na yung covering, na-remove na yung nuclear envelope, magi-start na yung ating metaphase. And sa metaphase, yung mga chromosome, yung mga na-form na chromosome mag-align. Chromosome aligned sa center or doon sa may ano natin, sa may metaphase plate, yung gitna ng cell na nagdi-divide. So mag-align siya doon. So yung this is the most crucial pagdating sa cell division kasi pag nangyari dito yung yung damage ng DNA, mare-replicate or madodoble yung damage, yung mapapamana dun sa dalawang daughter cell. And as well, whenever investigating a cell genetic material, this is the best kasi naka-concentrate sa gitna lahat ng kanyang nung kanyang chromosome. Okay, so next we have the anaphase. Sa anaphase naman, ito yung separation. And separation of sister chromatids. So yung chromosome ngayon mabibiyak na sa kalahati, sa gitna, into sister chromatids na magmamigrate dun sa nabubuong mga nuclear pole. Yan, sa bagong mga nucleus nung later na daughter cell. And tapos last na ng formal na mitosis is yung telophase. And telophase. Si telophase naman, ito na yung magi-start na mag-reconstruct. Yan, mari-reconstruct na yung nuclear envelope na nasira or na-dissolve noong first part ng prophase. So nasa loob na yung sister chromatids, i-cover niya na. So meron ng two new nucleus. So to somehow finish yung or to finalize, formally mag-finalize na yung mitosis, magsa-cytokinesis. Okay, ito namang cytokinesis na to, ito yung magbibiyak na yung cytoplasm para maging independent na sa isa't isa yung daughter cells. So that is the mitosis. So karaniwan ng mga body cells natin sa katawan, the way they perform cell division is by mitosis. Pero kung ang pag-uusapan natin ay sex cells, ang gagamitin is meiosis. Okay, meiosis, this is the sex cell division. Ano ba example ng mga sex cell? Yung mga gametes, yung sperm and yung egg cell. Yan. So, pag magdi-divide sila, they undergo meiosis. Ang kaibahan sa meiosis, it is not just the division then multiplication like your mitosis. Ang mitosis, ang product kasi is identical. Identical si parent, magkamuka yung genetic material ng parents sa kanang daughter. Kung diploid, so pag sinabi natin diploid, kompleto yung 36 na yung ating, I mean 23, yan 23 pairs. Yan 23 pairs or 46 in total. So kompleto yung 23 tapos pagka yung daughter cell 2 and then. Yan. So diploid din siya. Okay, samantalang dito, hindi diploid ang magiging byproduct. So it is reduction division kasi. Reduction division. Okay, so paano nangyari? Halimbawa, ito si halimbawa, ito si parent. Si parent na, halimbawa, si spermatogonium or si oogonium, yung mga stem cell ng sex cells natin. Pag nag-divide sila, dalawa muna. So, yan, okay, so magiging N na lang yan. So, magiging haploid. So, from diploid, magiging haploid, tapos magi-divide pa. This is the first division, tapos yung second division natin, yung, okay, so ayan, 2N pa rin should I say. Then, pagdating nung susunod na division ng meiosis, apat, nakakapag-create siya ng apat na N. Yan, ganun din dito sa kabila, meron ding apat na same set na na-reduce into haploid. So kaya this is quite important para kasi kapag nag-union si sperm sa kasi si egg, mabubuo ulit yung normal na tao. Kasi imagine mo pa, pagka 2N pa rin silang na-retain, pagka nag-undergo ng fertilization, it is not normal human yung makikreate. So, kaya siya nag-undergo ng reduction division via meiosis. So, out of this, we can say na dalawa yung division nito. Meron itong meiosis 1. So, parang mitosis din siya, pero dalawang beses mangyayari. So, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Okay, so sa meiosis 1, reductional division siya na yung ating homologous sa chromosome will separate. Yan, homologous chromosome magse-separate. Okay, so sa kasi sa may mitosis kasi chromosome lang. Dito homologous kasi meron siyang dalawang chromosome na magkatabi, one from the parent and one from each parent, yung magse-segregate later on yung yung halimbawa sa cell meron siyang meron siyang maternal sa paternal side. So kapag ka nag ano yon nag nagdikit. So sa simula magkadikit, sa halimbawa, edi dalawang chromosome. Magkakaroon kasi diyan ng cross-linking to somehow give genetic diversity doon sa mga daughter cell. So kaya yung mga anak, hindi sila magkakamukha dahil dito. So dahil kasi yung homologous chromosome sa simula pag magkatabi sila, magkakaroon ng exchange ng genetic material, magkakaroon ng segregation. Tapos afterwards, pagdating sa end ng meiosis 2, magse-separate ng dalawang to. And they have now unique kasi magkakaiba siya ng genes na laman sa loob. Okay, then pagdating ng meiosis 2, etong single chromosome, yan na magiging normal na siya ulit. Madidivide na siya into its sister chromatids. So homologous chromosome dito naman separation to ng sister chromatids. Okay, so yung mag-undergo na ng ng further na yung ating cell. Okay, so correction pala dito. Dito pala sa simula pa lang sa first meiosis 1, mag-undergo na kagad ng magiging haploid. Correct lang natin yung diagram, baka ma-confuse kayo. Okay, so from 2N magiging N na lang ulit, magiging N na lang siya. Tapos mare-replicate sa second meiosis na magiging 4 na N. Yan. And so kaya ang end product ng meiosis, 4 na daughter cells out of the one parent. Yan. So that's what is happening in the meiosis part. And etong na to, etong meiosis, this is quite crucial kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung genetic damage ng radiation. Kasi pag dito nangyari sa isang stage ng meiosis yung damage, at yun yung mga present na cells during the reproduction, yung magiging anak could possibly have some congenital defects. Like may mga nangyari sa mga survivors ng atomic bombing, yung mga anak nila, merong uh, mga damage, lumabas yung mga damage ng radiation. So may tawag tayo doon and we will discuss that further doon sa ating mga susunod na discussion. So siguro last part na before we conclude this topic, yung tinatawag na cell differentiation. Yan yung cellular differentiation. Pag sinabi natin cellular differentiation, ito na yung time na yung immature cell, yung mga commonly ito yung mga stem cell. Katulad halimbawa, si stem cell ng egg cell o ogonium. Hindi pa mature yon. So mag-undergo pa siya ng meiosis para maging mature siya. Or from one stem cell, magiging specific cell siya ng katawan or specific organ. So your fetal cell, then nag-divide siya naging specific na organ cell. Ang yung tinatawag nating differentiation. From immature, magiging mature. So, saan makikita yung pagiging mature niya? Sa pagkakaroon ng specific na form and function. Yan, meron na siyang specific na siya. Specific in terms of form saka function. Halimbawa from the blood, out of the stem cell of the blood, naging red blood cell na at ano bang ginagawa ng red blood cell? Transportation of oxygen. And so specific na yung form and function. Okay, so yung cell differentiation na to, pagka yung mga nagdi-differentiate pa lang na cell, ang tinamaan ng radiation, mas malakas ang damage and or mas great yung damage. And kapag ka nagtuloy-tuloy yung differentiation na yung damage na yun ay nadala nung cell na nagdi-differentiate, it would result into abnormal cell function later on na pwedeng maging sakit ng organism. Okay, may i-discuss pa natin to further yung mga damage na to ng radiation dun sa ating susunod na topic. But for the meantime, hanggang dito muna tayo and thank you for listening.
Okay, class, do you have any question or clarification regarding our topic that you want to to be further explained? May mga question ba kayo or do you have any clarification? Okay, so if there's no question, so kindly visit the Orange app. I have posted there an assignment. So we still have some remaining time and kindly utilize that to begin in accomplishing that. So by the time the submission day arrive, you already have your output. Okay, so so far that's all for now and you have the permission na to leave and enjoy the rest of the weekend. So okay na class, you can have your rest na. So just make sure lang that you will open the Orange app.